everyone, welcome to my channel again. Welcome back. I haven't done a vlog in a really long time. I'm really excited to be back with you. And today we'll be talking about names. The names that we choose for our stage names or our professional names and how the industry treats them. I have a lot of questions in how that's decided, and also a conversation that started not long ago about minorities and the changes of last names to fit the industry. So, if you're ready for this, take your cup of tea and let's get started. There has been a lot of conversation in my life about my name. My first name that I've been using since 2014 was Fher Douglas, and I was known in the industry as Fher Douglas. Through university I was known as Fher Douglas. Now, just to point things out about my name, so Douglas is actually in my family. My mom's last name is Douglas, and I was raised by her and her family, and my grandma is my inspiration for a lot of things, for the way she basically raised my aunts and my mom alone. So for me, taking Douglas was a really meaningful name. 1 year ago I was part of an internship, and in this internship we were talking about names. And we were talking a little bit about how Douglas wasn't necessarily a good fit for me. It made me seem like I was trying to, I think the words that they used was Americanizing myself, or trying to sound it more like English, which I disagree. But it was a conversation that made me think about it, and certainly I started questioning a lot of things about marketizing oneself and how you sell yourself, this industry, how it works, what a name can do, and how that can impact the kind of work that you're given. To be honest, I'm still hesitant, and the reason why I'm doing this video today is because I have a lot of questions about this. I don't know, first of all, if I should be really thinking about this, if this is an issue that should be concerning me, or if I should choose whatever name I want without caring too much about others. I have heard both sides of the story, and I'm here with you guys to hear what your opinion is. What do you think about all these things that are happening in the industry? As I was trying to figure this out and trying to listen to different opinions, I heard someone that was from East Europe, and he went through this process of changing his last name to something more English-like so people could pronounce it better, and so he could fit a little better into the image. And a couple of years ago he decided that, you know what, that's it, I'm not doing it. I am going to go with my original last name, and people will need to learn how to pronounce it. Now, I totally agree and support that we should totally force ourselves to learn how to pronounce someone else's last name, and that shouldn't be an excuse to not give them the opportunity to have, you know, their last name, their original last name. And this also happens a lot with, or I have seen a lot with, Chinese or Asian descendant, where they change their names or they change their last names to fit into the society. I totally disagree with that, and I feel like we should be pushing ourselves to learn someone else's last name, and they shouldn't just change themselves to fit in. So for that part of the argument, I understood what they were going for. Now, my full name is pretty long. Is Maria Fernanda González Rios. So as you can see, I have a first name, which is Maria, my middle name, which is Fernanda, and I have two last names, which is a big issue in a country like Canada or the US, where there's only one last name. So González Rios are my last names. Now, how it works in Mexico is that González is the dad's last name is the only one that passes from generation to generation, and you combine the dad's mother and the dad's father. The first one, which is González in this case, González is my dad's last name, and Rios is my mom's dad's last name. As you can see, in this way, just like I think it also works here in Canada, the dad is the one that passes the last name. So, you know, I'm not against that. But I'm trying to reflect who I am. And even though my dad was there when I was growing up and everything, it's not necessarily, you know, he also supported me all through this. So I'm not saying that's not what I want, but I want to recognize the effort that the women in my family, in both my dad's side and my mom's side, have the work that they have done. I feel like it's time to honor them and to give something back to all that effort that was given. And again, my grandma plays a great role on this decision. And that's just because, you know, my grandpa passed away when my mom was little, and just the effort and the power and the values and virtues and all these things that my grandma put into my mom were passed to me. And those values and virtues combined to some of my dad's have been the ones that inspire me to keep going and to be doing what I'm doing right now and be with you guys, talking and being open and stop judging things so much and taking people for who they are. All these things and all these values, I think, represent me more, and I wanted to reflect that in my name. I think that's what a company name sometimes do it. And so here goes the other side of the story, and a little bit of what my understanding of this person that brought that point out was. So a stage name is basically, or should serve as a company name or a presentation name. Is your marketing strategic, is your persona, is what defines you, is what they will call you when they see your work. So choosing a name that will reflect who you are is one of the process that not a lot of artists, but some do think about. And they decide to choose certain things for the sound, for the rhythm, for the rhymes of it, for the connection, or for the meaning and identification with those names. So as I was thinking of all these things, and choosing my name, my stage name, before even I started university, I went into Douglas as a realm to connect with that powerful womanhood that raised me and supported me and supported generations of women and men in my family. But after having this conversation with this person, I heard the other side. Now, the other side of the story is that Douglas is a really English name. It's actually Scottish. And yeah, part of my family comes from Scotland. I think my grandma's dad was from Texas, and then his dad was from Scotland. So yeah, the last name comes from Scotland, and it has a background on it, and it's on my history, I guess. But since I was born in Mexico, I am considered Mexican and part of the minorities. So as I was telling, in the industry, based on what I've been told or what I've been discussing with people, having a last name that fits the minority really shows that you're part of them. So when they're going through the names and through the casting and all these things to choose who will audition or not, they take a look at those last names to make sure that they fit into the minority standard that they require now, sometimes legally, for their projects. Now, this is what I've been told by professionals. If you guys know more about this information, or you actually have more experience into casting and all these things, I'm really excited to hear that part, because I haven't been able to find too much information about this, and this is the reason why I'm doing also this video, to find more information regarding this issue. So as I was saying, based on the argument I was told, having a last name that represents my minority a little more will give me more opportunities to get into the room. Which, you know, in a way it bothers me, because if that's true, then it doesn't matter how much effort I put into school or how much effort I put into my day-to-day activities in the industry, just my last name will open doors for me. I don't know. I think there's a double standard there that we need to be careful about in the industry. But going back into what this person was saying is that I should maybe choose one that showcase my Mexican side a little more. And I thought about it, I sat down and talked with people who have changed their last names to a more English kind of last name and then move into their original last name, which was from different parts of the world. So these people that I've been talking about, that they changed from English and then went back to the original ones, they did say that there was a change in the way they were perceived, and it did took them a bit of time to connect those two personas, but that it opened other doors and it showcased a little more their diversity and their identity. That just got me thinking. So here I am today, and this is just for my last name. So my name itself has been an entire issue, but we're going to focus right now on my last name. So this is my question for you guys watching. Does it really matter? And if it matters, why does it matter? How does it impact in the industry? Will it actually give me jobs that connect more into this only a Spanish kind of identity of myself? Or can I just embrace that I'm more than that? And do we want that world that we can embrace, that we are multicultural, just like we're supposed to be in Canada? So I want to know what you think about that. And if you have an opinion about it, please leave it in the comments. Even if you don't have too much experience about this, just leave it in the comment what you think and what your perception on this topic is. So to end, what this person told me was that I should probably change it. So that summer, last summer, I decided I should change to my actual last name. And in that process I was like, but I want to still honor that side of my family, which is my mom's side, because that was the side that I spent more time with, my grandma and all that. So I thought, well, the closest thing to my grandma is my mom's dad's last name, Rios, and that's how I came to be Fher Rios. Now the first part of my name, which has been a conversation also, and again, I'm going to encourage everyone in the world watching this right now that if there's a name that we cannot pronounce, we should learn to pronounce it and not find an excuse to not do it. Yeah, it can be embarrassing that you made a mistake. Well, you made it. It's not a big deal. And if you make it a couple of times, it's great. But also consider that after a certain amount of times, it's going to get annoying. It's a true. If you were called Peter and then I just called you Peter, you wouldn't like it because that's not your name. So I will call you Peter. What is a big deal? There's not a big deal. So in that regard, I came to talk with someone else about my first name and how I was identified, and I have two names, and the entire meaning of my name is a chosen warrior. I want to be that. I love that. It connects with my identity, connects with who I am, how I behave, what I believe, how I fight for things, and I was okay with having both of them. Fher seems like a good combination of both. Fher Maria, Fher for Fernanda. That way I don't miss one side of my heritage or my name or the meaning of my name. So I was told by someone that it sounded really masculine. It sounded really masculine because Fher sounded like Mid-Eastern Arabic kind of name. Now, I know I could just throw into the garbage whatever people say. So don't get me wrong, I could have done that. But if I'm doing this video, it's for us to make us aware all these conversations are happening, and it just happens that someone started that with me. And that I never thought about it. I never put too much thought into it, but someone thought that that was an issue. And if that person exists, then probably other people think that way as well. So when I came into, Fher sounds like a masculine name, I was like, well, what is the big deal with that? And they were like, well, it can be confusing if someone sees you or they see your name, they wouldn't be sure who you are. And I was like, well, when you send things to audition, you send headshots. So I mean, if they think I'm a man, they should probably look at my headshot. But this person was really pushy and was saying how Fher also sounds industrial. It sounds like a material thing, and that maybe something a little more poetic will give me with a little more rhythm, will also give that a spice of Spanish into my name and will connect these two things, and it wouldn't necessarily put me into another kind of minority, which which is a Mid-Eastern community, which I look like it, and a lot of people from Iran have tried to speak to me in Farsi, and I don't speak the language. So she pointed all these things out, and I thought, okay, fine, you're maybe right. So I changed it and I decided to use Fher, which is how one of my dear bosses here in Canada called me, and she just started that nickname, and that nickname became a thing that I like. Also, my name is really popular in Spanish countries, so like there's so many nicknames for people with my name that it's not that hard to change it. So I decided to go with Fher. So here we are. You're watching the video of Fher Rios, director, producer, actor, YouTuber, blogger, whatever you want to call her. She has worked, she has created art, she has created theater. I specialize more in theater than film. Right now I'm experimenting through this channel with film and what I can do in this medium. That's who I am last week. And you will think, okay, I found my identity, I have my name, that's it. That's it, the end of the question. Well, last week, as I was going to my parents, my mom mentioned that there was Fher Rios that existed, and that she has a really bad reputation or something related to that she saw videos that doesn't necessarily are good. I haven't seen them. I don't know how much this is true or not. You know, it has been bothering me that my name feels like it was taken away from me, or my identity was questioned, and now I don't know who I am. I don't know how to call myself. I don't know why it matters that much. And every time I have this conversation with someone and I cannot go into an argument why I change it and justify that into a really convincing idea for myself, at least, I always quote Shakespeare, and I go with what's in a name. That which we call a rose by any other word will smell as sweet. So I would still have those qualities that represent me. So it doesn't matter what my name is. But as I'm getting into YouTube and as I'm getting into forming a company and forming collaborations and connecting with artists, it has become an issue now in my life to not being able to actually identify with one specific name or nickname of my name. And after my conversation with my parents last week, which I never talked about these things with them, I am in this moment making the last decision and sticking with that one. For me, I've been using, before this person brought it into my life, I've been using for about 4 to 5 years the name Fher. Professionally about 3 years ago, and Fher Douglas was my stage name since before I moved to Canada. So for me, that's what I identify with. But is it really true that it will get into the way of getting jobs or being counted as a minority, or people will think I'm not a minority just because of the last name? I mean, clearly if they speak with me just like you probably are hearing, they will realize, but we're talking about before they even see me on their audition room. These are really things that as someone who just finished university and is in this transition of understanding a little better the industry is going through. So if you're going through the same thing, or if you have questioned your name as well, or you have changed it in the past and you were already part of the industry, leave me a comment down here, or you can contact me. I'm going to leave my business email here where you can email your story or email anything that you feel like you want to share, and just tell me about what your thoughts are in this, because I really want to make a decision, and I don't care too much about how I'm called or who I am by name, but I care about what I represent and the kind of values and virtues and goals and philosophy that I want to bring into the world. And that's what is more important to me than a name, because I do believe that Shakespeare was right. What's in a name? That which we call a rose will still be a rose. It will still have that fragrant perfume that is so part of a rose. It, like, if you would smell it, you will know it's a rose. And so we all do. So it doesn't really matter what we're called or who we are, if at the end of the day we are still the same essence, the same perfume, the same fragrance, the same thing. And I truly believe that. That's a belief. But I do want to understand what are the business thoughts. I want to know what the business thoughts or the business point of view are from, casting agents themselves, directors, professionals that have been in this for a really long time, production managers, executive producers, like I just want to understand those point of view. So please leave a comment down here. This is all that I have to say about this topic today. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like and share it with as many people as you want. Also, people that you think this material can be helpful or that can help them figure out something, or that maybe they can be a good audience to discuss this topic with. I send you a lot of love. I hope you're taking care during these COVID-19 times and don't get really comfortable with us being able to go out now. Please be aware that still there are risks outside and there's still things happening. So be careful, take care of yourself and take care of others. And just remember that always love, listen and learn from one another. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye now.